I have been living in the United Kingdom for almost 2 years now, and if there is one thing I have learned, it is that everything I thought I knew about this country was completely wrong. Back home in the United States, we are sort of conditioned from a very young age to believe that America is the absolute pinnacle of convenience, modern living, and efficiency. We are told we have the fastest systems, the best technology, and the most comfortable lifestyle in the world. But let me tell you, after crossing the Atlantic, packing my entire life into a few suitcases, and actually setting up a home in England, I have had some major reality checks. There are things over here that are so mind-blowingly superior to how we do things in the States that I genuinely do not know how I will ever adjust if I ever decide to move back. We are not just talking about minor differences in how people pronounce words or which side of the street they drive on. We are talking about basic everyday infrastructure, cultural attitudes, and societal systems that just make daily life infinitely less stressful, cheaper, and more humane. So today we need to talk about the 9 things that Britain does way better than America, starting with a financial system that literally changed my entire daily routine, the absolute second I landed at Heathrow Airport. First up, we have to talk about the financial infrastructure and the sheer magic of contactless payments. In the United States, we love to think we are at the absolute cutting edge of technology, but when it comes to daily banking, we are practically living in the dark ages. When I first got to London, I was clutching my physical leather wallet like my life depended on it, constantly making sure I had cash and credit cards ready. But within a week of living here, I realized I did not even need to carry a wallet. You can tap your phone or card for absolutely everything. I am talking about paying for a single banana at a tiny corner shop, buying a bus ticket in the middle of a rural village, or splitting a massive dinner bill with 5 friends. You do not even need to buy a physical ticket for the London Underground. You just tap your regular bank card or phone on the yellow reader at the turnstile and go. In the UK, instant bank transfers are completely free and take about 2 seconds through your standard mobile banking app. There is no Venmo, no Cash App, and definitely no waiting 3 business days for your money to clear unless you pay an overnight transfer fee. Back home in the US, we are still sliding chips into card readers that take 30 seconds to think, signing physical paper receipts with those tiny plastic pens, and occasionally still writing actual paper checks. Yes, Americans still write checks. The convenience of British banking is completely unmatched, and it makes the US system look like it is run on steam power. That brings me directly to point number 2, which is walkability and public transportation. In America, if you do not have a car, you are basically stranded in most parts of the country. Our cities and suburbs are designed entirely for vehicles, not for actual human beings. If you try to walk to a grocery store in a typical suburban US town, people will literally pull over to ask if your car broke down. Or worse, they will look at you like you are up to no good, because walking on the side of a highway is so unusual. But in Britain, walking is a default state of being. Sidewalks, or pavements as they call them here, actually exist everywhere. They connect villages, they run alongside country roads, and they are beautifully maintained. What blew my mind even more was discovering the public footpaths and the right to roam laws. In the UK, there are legally protected ancient pathways that cross through actual private farmland and countryside. You can walk through beautiful rolling hills and crop fields, and it is completely legal. In the US, if you tried to walk across someone's private land, you would likely find yourself staring at a very angry landowner or a trespassing warning. And if you do not want to walk, the public transport is actually usable. The trains, the underground, and the local buses form this massive interconnected web that makes car ownership feel like an expensive chore rather than an absolute necessity. I was literally shocked to find out that people here routinely travel across the entire country using only trains, and it is just a normal Tuesday for them. In the US, public transit is often an afterthought, but here, it is a lifeline that actually works. Now, if you have spent any time walking through a British town, you will quickly notice the third thing the UK does infinitely better: pub culture. In the US, we have bars. American bars are loud, dark, filled with massive television screens showing sports, and they are strictly for adults who want to get a drink. It is a very specific, high-intensity vibe, but a British pub is something entirely different. It is not just a place to get a pint of beer, it is the literal beating heart of the community. The first time I walked into my local neighborhood pub, I saw a family celebrating a birthday with toddlers, an elderly couple playing cards in the corner, a group of college students chatting, and about 5 different dogs sleeping under the wooden tables. It is warm, welcoming, and incredibly social. It feels like an extension of everyone's living room. The physical layout is designed for comfort, often featuring a cozy fireplace, comfortable mismatched armchairs, and a complete lack of blaring neon signs. In Britain, the pub is where you go to exist with other people, and the atmosphere is so deeply comforting. There is no pressure to drink heavily, and there is certainly no aggressive bouncer eyeing you down at the door. It is a masterclass in community building. Before we move on to the next point, I want to ask you a quick favor. If you are loving this video and you really want to show some support for my content, please take a second to hype this video up right now. Hit that like button, leave a comment telling me your favorite British slang or your own expat shock, and share this with a friend. Your support and love mean the world to me, and hyping up the video in the comment section really helps get these stories out to more people who are navigating the crazy world of moving abroad. Let us show the algorithm some love and get this video moving. Now let us talk about number 4, which is something I am incredibly passionate about: grocery quality and food standards. When I first walked into a British supermarket, I was bracing myself for a massive bill because everything looked so fresh. But then I looked at the prices and I was completely stunned. Fresh berries, high quality vegetables, and organic dairy are shockingly cheap here compared to the US, but the real difference is what is not in the food. The UK has incredibly strict food regulations. You will not find chemical preservatives, artificial dyes like red 40 or yellow 5, or growth hormones in your dairy. In the US, our processed foods are packed with ingredients that are literally banned in Europe and the UK. When I eat bread in the US, I often feel bloated and heavy. But here, the ingredients are so simple and clean that my body actually feels good. American supermarkets like Walmart or Kroger are massive, overwhelming warehouses of sensory overload where a single loaf of sandwich bread can contain 40 different chemical ingredients. British supermarkets focus on seasonal produce, shorter ingredient lists, and much cleaner manufacturing. It made me realize how much we sacrifice in America in the name of cheap mass production and long shelf life. Britain treats food as sustenance, while the US often treats it as a manufacturing puzzle. Number 5 is a big one, and it is something that completely changed my mental health: work-life balance and paid annual leave. In America, we have this intense, almost toxic hustle culture. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. The idea of taking a 2-week vacation feels like a crime, and even if you have unlimited paid time off, there is this unspoken pressure to never actually use it. Many US workers get zero guaranteed paid leave by law, relying entirely on the generosity of their employers. But in the UK, the legal minimum of paid annual leave for full-time workers is 28 days. Think about how massive that is. 28 days of guaranteed vacation. People actually take them. Your boss will literally email you at the end of the year telling you to take your remaining days off because they do not want you to burn out. There is a deep cultural understanding that work is just a part of your life, not your entire identity. Sick leave is also treated as a basic human right, rather than something you have to hoard, like gold. People shut off their laptops at 5 p.m, they do not answer emails on the weekend, and they actually enjoy their lives. Coming from the US, this felt like entering a parallel universe where human happiness actually matters more than corporate profits. Also, this is exactly the kind of thing I go much deeper on with the people who support this channel directly. So if you are sitting there thinking, okay, I need the fuller version of this story of my move and all the crazy details of adjusting to life here, join the membership below. That is where I share the deeper thoughts, the more personal side of all of this, and the extra bits about living in England that I cannot always fit into the main videos. It is a great way to connect directly with me and get those extra personal stories. Moving on to number 6, we have to talk about healthcare administration and the NHS. Now, I know the National Health Service is a massive topic of debate in the UK right now, and yes, it has its challenges with waiting times, but as an American, the sheer lack of administrative nightmare is beautiful. In the US, even if you have great health insurance through your job, navigating the system is a full-time job in itself. You have to worry about in-network doctors, out-of-pocket maximums, deductibles, and co-pays. I once had to fight my insurance company for 3 months over a basic medical test because they claimed the lab was out of network, even though the doctor who ordered it was in network. In Britain, if you need to see a doctor or go to the hospital, you just go, "There are no bills, no insurance claims to file, no unexpected $3,000 charges showing up in your mailbox 3 months later, and no fear of medical bankruptcy." Even the prescriptions are incredibly simple. In England, there is a flat rate cost for prescriptions of around £9, regardless of how expensive the actual drug is. You can also get a prepayment certificate that covers all your prescriptions for an entire year for a very low fee. The peace of mind that comes with knowing you will not be financially ruined just because you got sick is something Americans can only dream of. Now let's talk about number 7, which is a bit more practical but equally mind-blowing: the cost of mobile phone contracts and home broadband. In the US, we are absolutely fleeced by telecom giants. I used to pay over $80 a month for a single phone line with unlimited data, and my home internet was another $90 on top of that. I just assumed that was the normal price of staying connected to the modern world. But when I moved to the UK, I walked into a mobile shop and the clerk offered me an unlimited data SIM card with free roaming for £15 a month. I literally asked him if there was a catch or if I was signing my soul away. He just laughed and said, "No, that is just the standard price." Home broadband is incredibly cheap here too, and there is actual competition among providers, which keeps the prices low and the service high. Switching carriers is incredibly easy, taking only a single text message, which forces companies to actually compete for your business rather than locking you into monopolistic contracts. It is a small thing, but saving over $150 every single month on basic utilities is a massive win for your bank account. Quick thing before we get to the final 2 massive things on this list: the data on this channel shows that over 80% of you watching right now are not subscribed. That means you are showing up for the content and enjoying these expat comparisons, but the algorithm has no reason to show you the next video. Hit subscribe right now so you do not miss the next upload, and we can make sure you are always in the loop. Now we need to talk about number 8, which is purely cultural but so important: British humour and banter. In the US, our social interactions can sometimes feel a bit performative. Everyone is very polite, very enthusiastic, and constantly trying to present the best, most successful version of themselves. We take ourselves quite seriously, and we are very careful about our personal brands. But in Britain, taking yourself seriously is the ultimate social sin. The humour here is built entirely on self-deprecation, dry wit, and what they call taking the mickey. At first, I was a little taken aback because my British friends would tease me about the smallest things. But then I realised it is actually the ultimate sign of affection. If a Brit is teasing you, it means they like you. It creates this incredibly relaxed social atmosphere where you do not have to be perfect. You can laugh at your own mistakes, admit when you have messed up, and just be human. British sarcasm is an art form, and once you learn how to read it, you realise how much warmer and more authentic daily conversations can be. It makes building genuine friendships feel much more real. Finally, number 9. Parental support and maternity leave. The way Britain treats new parents compared to America is night and day. In the US, we are the only wealthy nation in the entire world that does not guarantee paid maternity leave by law. Many mothers are forced to return to work just weeks after giving birth because they simply cannot afford to take unpaid time off. It is heartbreaking and honestly barbaric, but in the UK, statutory maternity leave can last up to 52 weeks, with 39 of those weeks being paid. There is also shared parental leave, which allows fathers and partners to take time off to bond with their new baby. On top of that, the government provides child benefit payments to help with the costs of raising a child, and there are free healthcare services specifically for pregnant women and young children. What really shocked me was the concept of health visitors. In the UK, after you have a baby, a qualified healthcare professional actually comes to your house to check on both you and the baby, offering advice and support completely for free. You are not just discharged from the hospital and told to figure it out on your own. Britain actually invests in the future of its society by supporting families when they need it most, whereas America often leaves new parents to sink or swim on their own. Living here has completely reframed how I look at my own home country. America has so much to offer, but Britain has figured out how to make daily life more humane, more connected, and infinitely more peaceful. If you agree, or if you think I missed something major, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.